You. Yeah. You. Come closer. I gotta ask you something. Do you like smut? What about, like, why choose contemporary dark romances? What about books that contain tropes like three mortally gray heroes, primal play, masked men, spicy toys and comedic elements, dark town with dark secrets, possessive heroes, and no cheating? If any of that seems intriguing to you, this series, might be for you. Hello, my little geeks and freaks. Welcome back to my book bowl challenge, where I will go through a massive bowl of books and hopefully not lose my sanity in the process. Today's book review is on the first book in the Blackwell Hawks trilogy, which is called Dare to Play by Sadie Hunt. Now, if you've seen all my other past reviews, you'll know I'm a simp for Sadie Hunt, okay? I have zero shame in stating just how much I love her books, and I'm not trying to gas her up or anything. I love to read in general, but I feel like there are certain authors that can really provide me this sense of calm when I'm reading, and a sense of excitement too. And I have been getting lucky with my book reviews lately. I have been getting books that I genuinely like, so I'm happy about that. But I've been reading, I think I've read, by this point, we've gone through Aventine, Beasts, Bastards, and Butchers, and now Hawks. There's 3 books in each of these series. That's 15 of her books, okay? 15 books. I have an attachment to the saga in a way that it's I really want to see how it continues to progress and grow, and I'm excited. So yes, I zero shame when I say I love reading this series. Before continuing, I will give a spoiler warning. I do tend to give some spoilers. I try not to give a lot of spoilers, but I do give some. I try to see what she posts about, what she allows her viewers to see. I try to see what's talked about and what's maybe not too much to give away. I don't want to give too much away. I want you guys to read it, but there are some things I have to talk about to make my review possible, and to hopefully intrigue you guys to watch it. Yeah, okay, cool. This book consists of our virgin female character, Cassie, who is in a desperate need to get revenge for what happened to her parents when she was younger. She also finds a bonus in potentially losing her V card if she gets caught, but she would prefer to win. And then we have our 3 hawks, Vigo, Hawk, and Jagger, all 3 of whom had it all and were extremely successful, but hated having to conform to societal norms. They're men who like to constantly push the boundaries and feel alive in ways that others might not seem acceptable. Cassie struggles because her whole life she's been protected by her older brother, Bram. Now, if you've seen my past reviews, that name does sound very familiar. So does Cassie, actually. Cassie's been mentioned throughout the books. Bram is one of the Blackwell Butchers, and he's been taking care of Cassie since his parents unfortunately passed from a tragic car accident. Now, before meeting Maeve, Bram was emotionally constipated and just kind of like a black void and scary. I mean, he's still scary, but emotionally constipated, not as much, He's getting better. He always avoided speaking about his parents. He didn't want to talk about it. And Cassie, being the people pleaser that she is, never wanted to upset him, so she left him out of it. But she couldn't get over what happened, so she decided to do some research. Research that led her to believe that her parents' accident was no accident. She's tired of living in the dark in order to keep her brother happy, because all he wants to do is keep her safe. So when he's away and no longer a part of the hunt, she decides to join the hunt, which is now being run by the Hawks. The Butchers hate the Hawks. The Hawks are rowdy, they're wild, they're reckless, they're seemingly immature, but once you get to know them, you realize that not only are they super intelligent, but they can be very serious when they need to be. At least some of them can. When Cassie gets caught by the Hawks, she's bummed that she lost, but she is eager to get rid of that pesky little virginity she has. However, things don't turn out the way she plans, and they're not willing to do that. Not there, anyway. Especially when she's Bram's little sister. They still plan to keep her the 3 months of the contract, and they do plan to have fun with her. They just have to go about it a little differently. Living with them does bring strain between Bram and Cassie, but Cassie's determined to see this through. Jagger's a bit calmer compared to the other 2, a little bit more level-headed. He used to be a Wall Street man, and then he left that profession in order to give in to his compulsions and desires. Vigo is a pierced and wild man with an obsession to his emotional support bat. You heard me right. He has an emotional support bat. He has zero impulse control, and he has a severe sweet tooth. Honestly, him and Bram should get along on that aspect. Hawk is dark, a man with a brilliant mind, but a closed-off heart. A man who enjoys pushing boundaries and living on the edge in every way possible. Neither of these men want to be tied down to somebody, but they can't help but gravitate towards Cassie, almost like she's the sun in their little solar system. I'm such a gush. Despite losing the hunt, the men are willing to do a little digging into the man responsible for Cassie's parents' car accident. They're not sure they will get the answers that Cassie's looking for, since it does seem to be a pretty cut and dry accident, but seeing her turmoil tugs at their heartstrings, and it leads them to do some hunting. When they get answers that they weren't expecting, they tell Cassie, and they decide to help her get the answers she's looking for. But as always, Blackwell Falls, not a place that's safe. And the monsters that lurk in the dark will do anything to make sure they stay hidden and undiscovered. So, when Cassie and her men keep digging around, sticking their nose where they shouldn't be, they unknowingly paint a massive target on their backs. Cassie's not willing to tell Bram about anything because she doesn't want to burden him, and she wants to do this on her own and kind of be separate from him and be more than just his little sister. However, this does leave her open and exposed in a way she wasn't really anticipating, and when she's on a drive to go see her best friend, she never makes it to her destination. Is she destined to meet the same fate that her parents did? Or will the Hawks be able to save her in time? My favorite part of the book is when the Hawks hear Cassie go off on them about her parents, and they decide to do some digging to get information for her because they're already so captivated by her that they're willing to help her despite the fact that she lost the hunt. It also leads to Vigo's newly developed relationship between him and his bat. A bat that will play a role throughout the entirety of the series. As always, I did genuinely love this book. Sadie Hunt has a way of making me hungry for more and making me captivated from the very beginning. I like knowing that this big ring that poisons Blackwell Falls continues to be a problem, and it does all seem to tie to every ring that has been taken down in previous series, continuing in this deep black hole of darkness and evil. I also do love that this book does show a bit more into the side of BDSM. Having 3 men at once is already steamy. Add spicy toys and some extra dominance, and my cheeks were tomato red. The book does leave off on a cliffhanger, and I'm eager to record the next part of this review and to continue where we leave off. As always, I do recommend reading this book, and as always, I will remind you that if you do want to read this book, start with Aventine University, then read Blackwell Beasts, then read Blackwell Bastards, then read Blackwell Butchers, and then you can start Blackwell Hawks. I know it sounds like a lot, but I promise they're quick reads, and if you do like this type of book, you may not mind so much having to read all those. Let me know in the comments below if you decide to read it, or if you're curious about reading it, or if you have any questions, or anything in general. Just let me know. Like the video, comment your thoughts, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already to show your support, and hit the notification bell to be informed every time I post a new video. I appreciate you guys for watching, and I thank you guys all for the support. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.